Dear students, I am back after a long gap. So earlier we were studying about the animal diversity, and in animal diversity we were studying about the lower animals which were included in the invertebrates. And starting from the protozoa and the animal amoeba, we will cover the starfish in the phylum Echinodermata in invertebrates. Now in the second part of animal diversity, there comes the vertebrates or chordates. So the first part of the chordate or the lower chordate is known as the Urochodata. So I am going to cover the urochordates in this lecture. So first of all, you should know what do you mean by the chordates or what are the general characters of chordates. So generally they show the presence of notochord. The dorsal hollow nerve cord is also present. There is presence of pharyngeal gill slits and a post-anal tail. So just see in the pics that you can see the presence of brain, pharyngeal gill slits, dorsal hollow nerve cord, notochord and post-anal tail. So these are the main characters or unique characters of chordates. Then phylum Chordata has been divided into three subphylum. First subphylum is Urochordata, and this Urochordata includes the tunicates. And second subphylum is Cephalochordata. It includes the lancets. And third subphylum is the Vertebrata. It includes the agnathians, fishes, sharks and tetrapods. So these subphylums, Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata, these all together comes under the phylum Chordata. So subphylum Vertebrata is distinguished from the phylum Chordata by the development of notochord into bony backbone. So this is the main difference between the phylum Chordata and Vertebrata subphylum. Now the tunicates. The tunicates were first regarded as sponges. Later on, Lamarck placed the tunicates in between the radiata and vermis. Then they were included in the mollusca. Then in 1866, Kowalewski kept them in the chordates. So now these are placed in the chordates. So about 2000 species are of ascidians or sea squirts or salpians and appendicularians, which are tunicates. So these are some examples like ascidians, herdmania, pyrosoma, doliolum and salpa. So all urochordates are marine and occur in the seas. Majority of them are sedentary and some are pelagic, means most of them are fixed. The body is covered by a test, which is the outer covering, and it is formed of tunicin, which is related to the cellulose. It is a material like the cellulose. Hence the name tunicata. So this is the diagram or pics of herdmania, which is showing the presence of tunicate or tunicin covering outside the body. Body shows variation in size and form. The body is unsegmented and has no tail. You can see here in the diagram that the presence of mouth, anus, dorsal hollow nerve cord and post-anal tail and pharyngeal gill slits. So notochord is present only in tail in larval forms and adults lack the tail and notochord. So larval forms having the tail and notochord, but in adults tail and notochord is absent. It disappears during the metamorphosis. Body wall consists of outer epidermis, middle mesenchyme of connective tissue and muscles and inner atrial epithelium. And Celome is absent. So these are also named as Acoelomate. Atrial cavity surrounds the pharynx. Into this cavity, the gill slits, anus and genital ducts will open. It opens through the atrial aperture. You can see here the diagram that's showing the buccal siphon here. Then pharyngeal basket showing the gill slits here. There is presence of endostyle. There is presence of heart. And there is presence of stomach, gonad, and this is the aperture named as the atrial siphon. Alimentary canal is complete. It is formed of mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx or branchial sac with endostyle and dorsal lamina, and oesophagus, stomach, intestine and anus. So here the diagram of herdmania is shown, showing the presence of branchial aperture here, then atrial aperture here. This is the atrial siphon, this is the branchial siphon, and this is the mental cavity. Here the muscles are present, and this is the presence of liver, stomach, gonad, and this is the intestine. So it's having both the mouth as well as the anus. So alimentary canal is complete. So mode of feeding is ciliary or filter feeder, and endostyle is present, which is the feeding apparatus. So this is again the structure of herdmania, showing the pharyngeal region or pharynx. So respiratory system contains gills in the pharyngeal wall. Generally, pharynx is a part of the digestive system, but here because of the presence of gill slits, it also helps in the respiratory system. Then open type of circulatory system is present, and heart is ventral and it is periodically reverses its function. Heart is neurogenic and surrounded by the pericardium. Blood is with different types of blood corpuscles, and vendocytes are present which can extract vanadium from the seawater. So this is very special character which is present in the tunicins. Excretory system by nephrocytes or pyloric gland or neural gland. Nervous system is represented by a single dorsal ganglion in the adult. You can see in the diagram the presence of dorsal ganglion. Sense organ is simple. Olfactory cum gustatory organ called dorsal tubercle is present. Asexual reproduction is by budding, and bisexual animal and cross fertilization is present, and fertilization is external. And development is indirect. It means there is presence of the larva, and larva is fish-like, which is named as the tadpole. So larva with notochord in tail, dorsal hollow central nervous system and gill slits. Then metamorphosis is retrogressive, in which tail disappears. Larva undergoes neoteny or pedomorphosis, and generally body temperature is cold, and it is named as the poikilothermal animals. So here again the structure of herdmania, showing the branchial aperture and atrial aperture, and showing the presence of different organs and the presence of the test. So these characters which are present only in tunicates, it makes them very special characters, and these are categorized under the subphylum Urochodata and phylum Chordata. So these are totally different from the invertebrates, and these are also different from the chordates, higher chordates. So these are placed in the lower chordates. So you can say this is a subphylum of Chordata and named as the Urochodata. So these are the examples like herdmania and pyrosoma, which are the tunicates. Thanks.